I don't look like this all the time. I competed for the last time 2 weeks ago. Thank you to my sponsors for the first time, 21 Grams Cafe and Prime Finance. I started weight training when I was 21 after being threatened to be put into hospital because I weighed 39 kilos. I suffered with anorexia, but before that it was probably undiagnosed anxiety and depression, and like Pat said, most people by the age of 17 have had their experience with mental illness and it sets root. And I never had any psychological treatment. I physically got better because I was scared to go to hospital. It was a 2-year battle to get back the weight that I was. I didn't have my menstrual cycle for 5 years. And I physically recovered, but the thoughts up here were still there. So when my marriage broke down in 2006, all those emotions resurfaced because I had no psychological help. Health is mental health, physical health, social health, spiritual health. We can't separate them. So I didn't know what was happening to me. I know my thoughts and emotions and feelings had changed and my behaviours had changed, but I didn't know it was called depression. I just felt like a duck paddling underwater, trying to keep my head above water to show that I was coping. But deep down, I was crushing inside. And in 2006, a friend said to me, "You look like a scared little bird." My first thought was, oh my God, someone has seen how I'm feeling. How cool is that? Maybe I'll get some help. My second thought was, oh shit, someone's seen the crack. Try harder. Because my whole life I felt that I was not worth it. I felt that I was not worth being loved. And that's what drove every single unhealthy behaviour and coping mechanism. I was standing there at the door, and sorry if I get teary, but I looked at the room and I was so proud that you're all here. Because in the depth of my depression, I made a really poor decision. And in 2013, I sat on the cell, on the concrete floor of a cell in Silverwater Prison. And I thought, how the hell did I get here? And I looked back to my teenage years of anorexia and then depression in 2007, and I thought it was low self-worth. That I tried to cope with unhealthy mechanisms because I never learnt how to cope properly. And I sat there and I thought I could starve myself to death quite easily here because I hated myself. And I thought if I do that, then I'm right back to square one. And all the forensic psychology help that I had the year before sentencing would have been a waste. And I sat there and I saw a bluebird outside the window of my cell. And I thought, I'm going to do everything I can to educate people about mental illness when I get out. And everything I unlearned in that year came down to that decision. I either starve myself to death or I make a difference. And that's why brazen growth is called brazen growth. It's boldly and unashamedly overcoming any challenge. And I have people in this room that have supported me all through that time when I hated myself. And it was through their love that I started to love myself again. And those people are my children, my sisters, my brothers, my mum and dad. They're not here tonight. Matt Harris, who I worked with at Marta Maria, Karen, Lara. There's too many people, the people that I've met since that I've told my story, shaking, thinking that I'd be judged. And all they did was love me. And I tell you what, I judge myself long enough. And when you have a mental illness, you judge yourself every single day. So I've got the stigma of a mental illness and a criminal record, but they do not define me. So I'll finish off with this quick little note of why I wanted jelly bean jam here tonight. In the last couple of months, I met a lot of really brave women in prison. 100% of women in prison have a history of mental illness. The judge ordered that I continue psychological treatment for the 11 months I was inside. I had one visit by a psychologist. I had to put into practice everything that I learnt with my psychologist in the community to get through that year. I still continue to do that every single day, every time a barrier comes up. And people say, get over it, it's finished. You've got no idea. It pops up all the time. But I refuse to hate myself again. And there was the last month in prison, the house that I was in, one of the girls had a CD, and we decided to have a dance party after we were locked up. So we put on the dance music, we were in our jail issue pyjamas, and we just had the best time, laughed. And then when I came home, my friend Karen, who I taught with, said to me, come with me to see Jelly Bean Jam. I'd never met them before. And we were dancing on the floor, and I had flashbacks to dancing inside. And I can't describe what it felt like. So a year ago, I said to Andy, are you free in October next year, which is Mental Health Week, because I really want Jelly Bean Jam to come to this event. So it's not just because they're a fantastic band, because for me personally, it means you can get through a difficult time and dance on the inside and on the outside. So thank you so much for coming tonight. Please give to Australians for Mental Health. They are one organisation who I shared my story with, and they put their arms around me with no judgment. So please, they're a grassroots organisation. Everyone on that board has had their own lived experience. So let's make a difference, put some money in the bowls, get into this silent auction, and then let's get up and have a dance. Thank you.